what impact when you put your last period on this on the book? What impact would you say Marcus Garvey had? Because you mentioned his mom's impact. What impact would you say Marcus Garvey had on Malcolm X when you look at him as a whole person?
Oh, Marcus Garvey was the through line through Malcolm's life.
Mm-hmm.
Through his brother's life, through all the siblings' life, and it is a through line. I mean, what Malcolm was talking, this whole thing about dealing with I don't know if you know there's that term that we hear, and you probably heard me say in other interviews where we talk about segregation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the segregator and
but they haven't heard
segregation.
It though.
Okay, segregation and views of segregator, i.e., the oppressors, i.e., white people in this case, with a false sense of superiority, and the segregated, i.e., Black people and the oppressed, with a false sense of inferiority. Martin Luther King and the civil rights worker and the groups, and I don't mean workers, I mean they were really working, but they were changing the superstructure of white supremacy and changing the minds of the segregator. And Malcolm was looking at us and how we view ourselves, how we have internalized this false sense of inferiority. And Garvey was doing that also. And that's what he got directly from Garvey. And he builds on that. But that is definitely a direct line. It's there.
Now you mentioned that he was how we received him was he was Malcolm being a complete angry man.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, was he really angry, or was he just had to be that person to inspire and encourage an army to go with him?
Malcolm was a great communicator.
Wasn't he?
And he was a great communicator.
Wasn't he?
And he was and he analyzed things. And what he wanted, I mean, it was more, think about when you want people to do better, we always say if they knew better, they would do better. Sure. So what he was doing, he was helping us learn. He was giving us the information so that we could do better and we can feel better. For that example I give of Dad, seeing him speak, and he says, I can call you Black in Spanish, but I can't call you Black in English. He's giving you information, like this is what Negro really means. And so angry, I mean, I think there was frustration. I think there was angry at the situation, but I don't think it was like he's like, it's frustration when you realize that people keep coming at you and saying, hey, why are you doing, and he said, he would flip things. He would say, you're saying that I'm the one that's angry. He says, I haven't done anything against white people. I'm just explaining what you guys are doing.
Uh-huh.
I'm putting the information out there.
Uh-huh.
But because again, when people do that and you make people feel uncomfortable, and Malcolm was doing that, as was Martin Luther King and the other civil rights groups, people get uncomfortable and they want to say, oh, you're angry, you're militant. They'll call you the names,
Right.
And it's, you're making them uncomfortable. But
right.
I wouldn't say that Malcolm was angry. He was pointing out what was going on, that was evident.
Right.
And he wanted us to thrive. And there were frustrations that come out of that, But I wouldn't say he was just angry at white people or angry at Black people. He understood how we got here. He was just trying to figure out what help us rise above this.
Right.
To change our situation.
Right.
Knowing that we could.
Yeah.